The Mutant. Among all the deaths in the X-Men universe, Darwin's in First Class is probably the one that frustrates fans the most. His mutation gave him the power to adapt to any threat in order to survive. On paper, he was practically impossible to kill. And yet, he doesn't even make it out of his first movie. When Sebastian Shaw unleashes his energy blast, Darwin is forced to absorb it and can't withstand the power. It wasn't just shocking, because it happened early, it went against the very logic of his abilities. Instead of a character with endless potential, he was wasted in a single scene. Years later, fans still point to it as one of Marvel's biggest missed opportunities. Darwin could have been Marvel's ultimate survivor, the mutant who made audiences wonder, how far can adaptation really go? Instead, he became a symbol of wasted storytelling. The trickster. If there's one death that instantly set the tone for Avengers, Infinity War, it was Loki's. The movie had barely begun when he tried to outsmart Thanos to save Thor. For once, his silver tongue failed him. The Mad Titan strangled him in cold blood, silencing the god of mischief without ceremony. Audiences sat stunned. Loki wasn't just another villain. He was unpredictable, charming, and deeply layered. Watching him die so brutally, so early, sent a clear message. No one was safe in this movie. Fans had seen Loki cheat death so many times before that many expected another trick, another illusion. But when Thor's broken voice whispered, "No resurrections this time," the reality hit hard. This wasn't a fake out, it was the end of one of Marvel's most charismatic characters. Even years later, people talk about that moment. Because it wasn't just Loki dying, it was Marvel pulling the rug out from under everyone in the first 10 minutes. The final snap. Tony Stark's death in Avengers. Endgame is one of the most unforgettable moments in the MCU. He begins the movie stranded in space, clinging to life, and by the end, he's making the ultimate sacrifice to save the universe. When the Avengers finally gather all the Infinity Stones, Hulk snaps first to restore what was lost. But in the chaos of the final battle, it's Tony who seizes the stones from Thanos. "I am Iron Man."
Iron Man.
With those words, he undoes the Mad Titan's work at the cost of his own life. Watching him fade as Pepper whispers that they'll be okay is heartbreaking. The quiet funeral on the lake with his arc reactor floating away wasn't just a goodbye to Tony. It was the closing of the MCU's first great chapter. The pain hits harder because Tony's story was the foundation of the MCU. From a self-centered billionaire in a cave to the man who gave everything for everyone else, his journey ended with the perfect bittersweet goodbye, the impalement. Logan's farewell in Logan is raw and devastating. Wolverine had survived everything. Bullets, bombs, countless enemies, but time finally caught up to him. His healing was slower, his body weaker, his spirit tired. When he faces X-24, a younger, stronger version of himself, it's a brutal reminder that even the indestructible can fall. In the final clash, Logan is impaled on a tree branch. A wound too great for him to heal. The pain of this scene isn't just in watching Wolverine die, it's in the meaning. For once, he wasn't fighting for survival. He was fighting to protect Laura and the children who carried his legacy. He dies not as a weapon, but as a father figure. A tragic, poetic farewell to one of Marvel's most beloved heroes. The way Laura calls him daddy as he fades makes the scene even more crushing. After years of being a loner, Logan finally found family and lost it in the very moment he protected it. If you're still watching this video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. The silence. Few Marvel deaths are as horrifying as Black Bolt in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. On Earth 838, the Illuminati think they can contain Wanda. They're wrong. In an instant, she erases Black Bolt's mouth. His panic unleashes a sonic scream inside his own skull, obliterating him from the inside. Quick, brutal, and unforgettable. For fans, it was shocking because Black Bolt was seen as nearly unstoppable. Seeing him die helplessly in seconds showed just how dangerous Wanda had become. The silence before his head implodes, the look of panic in his eyes. It's nightmare fuel, and it set the tone for what was about to come. Wanda wasn't playing around. The Multiverse Massacre. That wasn't the only death Wanda delivered in Multiverse of Madness. The Illuminati's arrogance cost them all their lives. Reed Richards is shredded apart. Captain Carter is cut in half mid-battle. Captain Marvel falls after a crushing blow. And Charles Xavier, perhaps the most respected of them all, is snapped out of existence during a psychic duel. This wasn't a fight, it was a slaughter. And it cemented Wanda as one of the MCU's most terrifying forces, willing to destroy anyone who stood in her way. The massacre shocked audiences because it was unexpected. These were iconic heroes, wiped out in minutes. For Marvel fans, it was a chilling reminder that power doesn't always guarantee survival. The Torch in Deadpool and Wolverine, one of the most shocking cameos, turned into a brutal death. Chris Evans appeared not as Captain America, but as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. Fans cheered, then gasped. Captured by Cassandra Nova alongside Deadpool and Wolverine, Johnny is singled out. Deadpool's reckless humor,
megalomaniacal asshole, his words not mine, hell-bent on domination,
makes things worse, and Storm is killed before he even gets a chance to fight back. Later, a post-credit scene reveals Johnny had provoked Cassandra himself.
A megalomaniacal psychotic asshole. A finger-licking dead inside pixie slapping.
But that didn't erase the sting of watching such a powerful character destroyed so suddenly. It was a reminder that in Deadpool's chaotic multiverse, nothing is sacred. Even fan favorites can be burned out in an instant. Captured by Cassandra Nova alongside Deadpool and Wolverine, Johnny is singled out. Deadpool's reckless humor makes things worse, and Storm is killed before he even gets a chance to fight back. Later, a post-credit scene reveals Johnny had provoked Cassandra himself. But that didn't erase the sting of watching such a powerful character destroyed so suddenly. The Speedster. In Avengers, Age of Ultron, Pietro Maximoff, better known as Quicksilver, arrives alongside his sister Wanda as an enemy of the Avengers. Their hatred of Tony Stark is personal, rooted in the destruction caused by Stark Industries' weapons. But by the film's climax, the twins have shifted sides. They're no longer enemies, they're allies. That turn makes his death all the more tragic. Sokovia is falling apart, floating high above the Earth as Ultron's ultimate weapon. Civilians scream, buildings collapse, and the Avengers scatter to protect as many as they can. Amid the chaos, Hawkeye shields a child behind the wreckage. He's trapped, seconds away from being cut down by Ultron's drones. In that moment, Pietro makes his choice. He doesn't hesitate. With speed blurring the screen, he hurls himself into the line of fire, shielding them with his own body. You didn't see that coming?
You didn't see that coming.
It's half a joke, half a farewell, and then he's gone, riddled with bullets before the audience can even process what's happened. The pain of this death isn't in the gore, it's in the silence afterward. Hawkeye looks down, alive because of the sacrifice. Wanda feels her brother's death instantly, her scream of anguish echoing louder than any explosion. For fans, Quicksilver's loss cut deep. He wasn't around long, but he left a mark. His sacrifice reminded us that true heroism isn't about power, it's about choice. The Watchmen. Rorschach's death in Watchmen isn't about spectacle, it's about principle. From the very beginning, he was the uncompromising one. Brutal, unrelenting, and unwilling to bend, no matter the cost. Where the rest of the world lived in gray areas, Rorschach lived in black and white. When Ozymandias' plan is revealed, that millions will die so billions can live, every other hero folds. They convince themselves it's necessary, but not Rorschach. At the Antarctic base, with snow whipping around him, he confronts Dr. Manhattan. His voice is raw, desperate, unyielding. Never compromise. Not even in the face of Armageddon. His mask, with its swirling ink blots, becomes a perfect metaphor for his soul. Messy, chaotic, but unmovable in its form. Manhattan warns him, pleads with him, but Rorschach won't stop. He'd rather die than accept a lie. What are you waiting for? Do it. In a flash, he's vaporized. No body, no scream. Just absence. The pain of this moment doesn't come from gore. It comes from what it means. Rorschach dies alone, his ideals intact. And in doing so, he becomes the one character who proves that sometimes the truest heroes are the ones who refuse to compromise, even if it costs everything. The Widow. In Avengers. Endgame, Natasha Romanoff's sacrifice left fans in tears. She and Clint arrive on Vormir, only to learn the brutal truth. To claim the Soul Stone, one must give up what they love most. It's not an enemy they face, it's each other. Clint, drowning in guilt for his violent path as Ronin, is ready to die. Natasha, carrying the weight of years as a spy, assassin, and Avenger, insists that she's the one who should make the sacrifice. Their struggle is intimate, heartbreaking. Each tries to save the other by dying first. For a moment, it feels like Clint will be the one to fall, but Natasha makes the final move, locking him in place as she smiles softly through her tears. And then, she lets go. Her fall is silent. The impact, final. Clint's scream of anguish is enough to shatter any sense of victory. When he awakens with the Soul Stone in hand, the weight of her loss crushes him, and the audience along with him. Natasha's death worked because it was quiet. No fanfare, no spotlight, just the simple truth. She gave everything she had for the people she loved. The King, Black Panther, Wakanda. Forever was always going to be an emotional movie, but when Chadwick Boseman passed away in real life, the film became something more. It became a memorial. The opening scene is stark, quiet, devastating. T'Challa has died of an illness off-screen, beyond even Shuri's brilliance to cure. The loss is abrupt, and it mirrors the shock of Boseman's passing in real life. Wakanda mourns. The funeral is not just cinematic, it's spiritual. White garments flow in the wind. Drums beat slow and heavy. Shuri, broken by grief, carries the pain of both sister and scientist. For audiences, the line between reality and fiction blurred. T'Challa's death was Boseman's death. The tears on screen were real. And when the credits rolled with his image filling the silence, fans everywhere felt the weight of goodbye. This wasn't just a painful Marvel death, it was the most human. So tell me, which Marvel death hit you the hardest? Did Loki's choke still shock you? Did Natasha's fall bring tears? Or was it Tony's whispered farewell that stayed with you?